Hi guys, hello. So, did you miss me all? I don't actually really know where to start. I don't. I have to be quite deliberate here. About a day after I did my last video, I woke up in the middle of the night with really severe anxiety and depression. It was well, it was beyond words, frankly. It was really horrendous. It was terrible. My heart was going ka-doom, 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 ka-doom. I had weird, creepy skin sensations all around the back of my scalp, my neck, my back, and a sense of acute anguish, panic, terror, being... Wow, that's a loud fart, isn't it? Anyway, I'll close this a bit because it's very loud out there. I had a breakdown 10 years ago. You know, that was a pivotal moment in my life, and it was just the same. It was just the same. And for years now, as I've been on this path towards the epicenter of myself, I guess I've always known that I had to revisit that, and I've been pushing it away because that experience I had 10 years ago nearly killed me. I nearly, called it a day, committed suicide. It was absolutely horrific. It's the worst thing I've ever been through, you see. And 10 years ago, I didn't understand what it was and what it was all about. And like I said, I nearly succumbed and I had to go on antidepressants for a bit. I've been off those for years now. But that was also, oddly enough, even though I was on antidepressants, it was also the beginning, in earnest, of this journey, this quest. I mean, the quest is a lifelong thing, as we know, but there are different stages within that quest, within our life. Just a minute. Anyway, so it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I am feeling utterly horrific. It's like I need to get out of my body. I need to run. There's nowhere to go. My other half tried to help, but I was beyond his help. There was nothing that he could do for me. There was nothing that anybody could do for me. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. I had to face that part of myself. I had to face it. It was there. And it's amazing, it's amazing how easily influenced we are, how MK Ultra at mind control we really are, even with regards to the new age, that most of us at one point or another have been influenced by. And so it was like, oh, you shouldn't feel this way, this is bad. But as I was going through this, I slowly began to work out that, you know what, you need to let this wash over you. You need to stop resisting this. And it also dawned on me that what I was dealing with was severe trauma and PTSD. And that after having met this part of myself in a way, in many different guises, on many different levels, and have healed it there, and then have encountered it again in a more intense form on a deeper level, and then on an even more intense form on an even deeper level, and yet I've healed it and healed it and healed it by accepting that part of myself and loving that part of myself and allowing it to literally wash over me and to be. So I was like, okay, that's what I need to do. Which is, it's funny, so It's a bit the same. There was a time where I used to get really bad period pains every month. And there was a day where it was so bad that I was literally vomiting. It was that bad, the pain was that bad. And at that point I realised that, okay, I've taken painkillers, but this is not going to go straight away. I need to go into the pain. I need to accept this pain and go into it. And the minute I did that, it became bearable. And it stopped soon after. So that is what I tried to do. So, and it was very letting go, going into it, starting to feel a little bit better, and then the resistance. No, you're not supposed to feel this way. Oh, this is bad. And I would start feeling really, really awful again. So it was a bit like that for a bit. So then I came across a really nice little video by a woman called Teal Swan. Not someone I'm normally particularly keen on, but you get your synchronicity and that which you need and the information that you need. You get it in a wide plethora of places and people and levels. And I once got a really handy tip from Bashar, and I absolutely despise the man, you know what I mean? So I get my pearls of wisdom wherever I might find them, and I don't judge, because if it serves my highest good, it serves my highest good, and that is all there is to that. So it was a practice called TRE, Trauma Releasing Exercises. They were invented by a guy called David Berceli, Berceli. Yes, Berceli, we would say here in England, I think. And if any of you are ever going through massive trauma or massive stress or feeling really fucking awful, then it's a good thing to look up. I'm not going to explain it here. It's basically a natural, animals do it, and it's a natural way to release trauma and stress through shaking the body. There are exercises and so forth and so on, and you can go online and look this up. It's called TRE, Trauma Releasing Exercises. It's very good stuff. It really fucking works. So I started doing that whilst also practicing surrender, letting go, and also something else started coming in, and it was all about loving myself, talking myself through this. And things began to emerge from within me about how the trauma of my childhood, a part of me, an aspect of myself, had aligned itself with my mother, the narcissist, in order to survive. You see, we treat ourselves the way our parents treated us. That is how that part of us protects us, thinks it's protecting us. I never knew nurturing, I never knew love, so all this time I've been mercilessly punishing myself and making life very hard for myself and so forth and so on, and expecting the worst, literally bludgeoning the life out of myself. Oh, you better expect the worst because the bad things are going to happen, and all of this. Most of you are aware of this. It's trauma, people, and it's so insidious and it's so ingrained. And there have been so many intense energetic shifts these last few months, and I knew something was going to happen. I knew this at the beginning of the year. I had this feeling, and in my dreams and in my visions this came to me again and again and again. So I started in the middle of extreme, complete darkness, really. I started to find the light of my own self-love, my own power. And it's not about slaying demons. It's about accepting and loving that part of us that has been our own worst enemy all our lives. You know, it's like that parents that used to give you such a terribly hard time and make you feel so worthless, and you were so paralyzed with fear, and you learn to live your life being paralyzed with fear, not even knowing it, right? Oh, the bad things are going to happen, they're coming to get me, oh my god, because life is fucking brutal. We know this. We are utterly traumatized. All of us are, one way or another, we are. And this was it. You're so worthless, you do not deserve to exist. And life is out to destroy you, utterly obliterate you, rip you apart. And I felt all of that. I had to feel it. I had to surrender to it. I had to let it wash over me. It was all that I could do. I mean, there were times where there was extreme rage and hate and like, and I screamed into a cushion. You know, we all live on top of each other. I've got neighbours, they'd be like, oh, please, please. Not necessarily, but you know, my mind was doing overtime. The paranoia was, wow, out of this world, you know. Man. It was utterly dark and utterly, there are no words for it, so I'm not even going to try to verbalize it really. I think you get the gist. And yeah, well, there it was. And yet I managed somehow, and I know because I was praying, you know, I was praying to my guides, and I was praying to the Great Mother, and I was asking for help, and then not for even a moment believing that there was any efficacy in it at all, and that I wasn't going to get any help, and I was utterly abandoned and utterly worthless and utterly rejected forever and ever and ever, alone in the dark forever and ever, beset by evil on all sides, all of this stuff. Yet I began slowly but surely to be able to shift it by understanding, by seeing that you have a choice here. You can choose to align yourself with the darkness, with this there is no hope, you're utterly doomed, alone in the dark forever, you're worthless, you're shit, you're paralyzed, you're powerless, you're nothing. And this is all there is, and evil always wins. And this is all, you know. Versus, first of all, allow this to wash over you. The thoughts, weird, crazy thoughts. I mean, that didn't even make any sense at all. Or images that didn't even make any sense at all. Don't react to that. Don't react to the feeling. Don't react to the weird mental processes. Just witness it. Focus on your breathing. Witness. And then it began to be, now talk to yourself. Be with yourself. Put your arms around yourself. Cradle yourself. Be around yourself like wings, and hold yourself and talk to yourself. And I began to feel inspired. Words came to me, sentences came to me of like, this is passing now, this is meaningful, this isn't happening because you're bad or because you're being punished. This is an initiation. It's like a shamanic initiation. You have gone into the darkness, into the 0 point, and that is where it ends. And that is also where the new begins, because the end is the beginning. Without one, there cannot be the other. And I did that, and I did my TRE, I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and it began to really help and take effect. Then I had to attend a tribunal for something. And it was like, that was on Tuesday, last Tuesday. And I was in a terrible state on Monday. I was doing all those things, but I was still in a terrible state, and I was having to do that bear witness, be with that. And then I kept, going into the old way of being, going into that, and then, no, I need to, and it was hard. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. But I kept going into the light, right? But it was like, oh my God, that tribunal. And I had a representative, a really cool guy who really helps me out with this. And I had to go in there. And there was these 3 men that were just complete organic portals. They had no empathy. They were harsh, brutal. They asked me many questions. It was like, Seek, Heil. It was, oh my fucking God. I don't know how I got through that, but I did. With the grace of the Great Mother, I got through that. And I won. With flying colours, I won. Then I started to feel a little bit better. That there was a lot of synchronicity that day. And my intuition kept saying, everything is going to be alright, you're going to win. All is going to be well. That was here. Intuition, And then here was like, no, you fucked, you're screwed. Oh my God, panic, oh my God, you fucked. And so again, I had to choose very, very carefully, very deliberately, very consciously to align myself with my intuition, with the power of love, with I can choose to let go of this overwhelming fear, this PTSD, trauma, fear, this gut-wrenching fear, this no, you can't trust yourself. My stomach was killing me, by the way, and I couldn't eat anything because my stomach was hurting so much. And this is a sign of, you can't trust yourself. Your gut instinct tells you this and tells you that, and my gut instinct was telling me lots of stuff, and I wasn't trusting it at all because I had this going on saying, no, you can't trust yourself, you're shit, you're worthless, you can't trust yourself. All of this distortion going on. But by the by, I was feeling this, I could hear my intuition, I could feel it, albeit very far off, but I was aware of it being there, the little voice, everything is going to be okay, Anika. So I even though this was all going on, and I was in the middle, I was on the threshold, I thought, okay, I align myself with that, and I started feeling a little calmer. So the day came, he came and picked me up, I went there, I went through it all. It seemed to take forever. It was absolutely nightmarish, but I got through it and I won. Even though the judge was apparently the most difficult judge to have, but everything just worked out seamlessly. It just really did. And the result was exactly the same as my intuition had been telling me for weeks. It's amazing. So then, yesterday, the mail arrived. Now, I've been in a dispute with a former employer over some money that I was owed. And this has been going on for a very long time. All of a sudden, there's a letter. And I've gotten a very substantial amount of money, just like that, and it's in my bank account today. I mean, we're talking quite a lot of money, and I was just like, what? Now here's the thing, several weeks ago, I was in a car with my other half driving up onto the moors, and there was a car in front of us, and its number plate had 3 letters on it, and those 3 letters are the letters of the place that I used to work at that owed me money. Then so I was looking at that number plate and I was thinking, oh, that's the place I used to work, they owe me money. Then I saw the Michelin Man on a sign going like that, and underneath the letters owes you money. I don't know why that was there, but it was there, owes you money. And then like 3 seconds later there was a sign, victory is yours. You know, so at that time the synchronicity was telling me this is all going to work out, you don't need to worry about it. And all this synchronicity happened just as I was thinking about this problem. Bang, it was all there. This happened about 5 weeks ago, and I wrote it down in my little synchronicity book. And the night before, in fact Tuesday night, I woke up still feeling really anxious. My sleep has been, wow, appalling. I might have had 2 hours a night of that. I woke up and there was a voice, a male voice, saying, the money has been released. Like that. Very matter of fact, very peaceful. And I thought, wow, okay. And the next day there it was. So then I had a dentist appointment this morning, which I was utterly, it was just a checkup, but I've had so many problems with my teeth over the last 5 years, whatever, that again, this a major trigger, just bringing up more of this dark hell consciousness of perpetual fear drenched being of, oh, nothing is ever going to be alright, oh my god, we have to struggle, we have to strive, we have to survive, we have to survive. And again, my intuition is there saying, no, Anika, that level of consciousness is on the way out. That is hell consciousness. It is the cross, and it anchors you into this reality, into the matrix. And it is time to move out of that and to move into the new consciousness, which is miracle consciousness, for lack of a better definition. You're a magical, powerful creator being, and you are meant to exist as that in this spectacular, glorious way. So trust your intuition. But of course this was going, oh, this is bullshit, you can't trust that, that's bullshit, that's insane, all the bad things are going to happen, oh my god, your teeth, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Of course I get to the dentist, complete state again, in the dentist chair, I'm like a gibbering wretch. I'm in there like 2 minutes, everything is hunky-dee. The first time in 9 years that I've had, all my teeth are fine. Nothing needs doing, everything is fine. Just like my intuition told me it would be. And all whilst this is happening, there are other little things happening as well. There's like my other half's dad had cancer of the prostate, and he was behaving, I mean, he's always been quite a selfish man. He's a good man, but he's been very traumatized, and so he's always been quite selfish. But he's completely changed. All of a sudden he's changed. He's more compassionate, he's more empathic. It's he phoned up, he said, how are you, Anika? And there are other little changes, everything is shifting. It's like, wow, okay. And I can feel something magical, momentous, something powerful is happening here. Ooh. I can feel this. All of this is very, very big, and I cautiously, being a Capricorn, I'm always cautious. I'm beginning to sense that this is the rise, this is the turning of the tide. Because from now on, because I have learned now, I had to learn the hard way to choose the power of love, to choose to love myself, to stand my ground with that, because it feels safe to be in the dark, to expect the worst, to be afraid, because, oh well, that's just the way the world works, and that's how it's always going to be, and evil always wins, and oh, I'm terrified, and it's trauma, it's PTSD. That is what it is. We are all like that. I see it everywhere. I'm very observant, and I see people being that way everywhere. I see it everywhere. People are constantly apologizing for existing. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, and people always expect the worst, and people beat themselves up mercilessly. And deep down within them is that black nut of self-hate and self-punishment, and this terror, this anguish, this the blackest of darkness. It's in everything and everybody, because that is what evil is. Self-hate is evil. That is what evil is. And fear. We're all drenched. Our consciousness is drenched with it. And it is, anyway, for me, I'm not saying it is this way for everybody at all, but for me, it had to get this dark. I had to get to come full circle, to come back to that. And make that choice. And it felt so counterintuitive. It felt so like, no. Because my comfort zone has been the dark. Even though it's brought me so much misery and so much suffering and so, and it creates so much shit. Look at the world around us. All the wars, all the aggression, all the violations, the human trafficking, the sexual abuse, the self-mutilation, the self-harm, the suicides, the abuse of animals, the abuse of nature, the sort of the people that just are so disenfranchised, they just don't care anymore. They're just given up. The haggard looks, our souls have been so emaciated, so mummified. And love, the power of love, is healing it all, because nothing is beyond the power of love. It is powerful. And I can testify to that today. I can say that to you all here now. Faith, trust, surrender, self-nourishment, self-love, self-nurturing, having your own back. We are not doing this alone. There is, they say this in Star Trek, don't they? Star Trek, Star Wars, the Force is with us. It is something. You can give it any name you like. I call it the Great Mother. Is with us. And we can pray. It doesn't necessarily happen straight away, like a big flash of lightning comes out of the sky and makes us feel all A-okay. It isn't like that, you see, because we have to do that work. There are things we have to do. It's what makes us. When you become a shaman or a voodoo witch doctor or whatever, they take you when you're quite young, and you go through a lot of initiations. Some of them are very, very grueling and very dark. It's the same. It's exactly the same here, okay? You will beg for mercy, and you will fear for your life and for your sanity. But if you want to attain the power of love, if you want to attain your power and shine like the radiant star that you truly are, and achieve reset and breakthrough, I guess you're going to have to be prepared to do what it takes. And fear not, for you are protected. I know I was protected, because otherwise I'd be dead now. I wouldn't be talking to you. And look at all the things that have come out of this. And I can feel there's more to come. And I dare say that I'm not quite through this yet, and I'm not quite out of this yet. It's been incredibly profound. It's been really, really tough. It's been so incredibly hard. But it's so worthy and worthwhile. And I feel such a deep deep sense of gratitude and appreciation, for I've learned something so precious, so incredible through this. And it fills me with this feeling, this sense of power. Not the kind of power that this world worships at all. That isn't power. No, it's the power of love, but that doesn't really tell you much, and it's beyond words. It's beyond the mind. It's beyond rationality and logic. This world is all about the mind, you know, the dark mind, the fear-drenched, the self-hate-drenched mind. And it's all wrong. But when your consciousness is healed from this virus, when you make that choice to heal, then you will heal. If you're willing to face the darkness within, you will heal, and you will be protected through that initiation. Then your consciousness heals, then you begin to fold up to new realities, and that maybe is what reset is. Perhaps I was a little wrong in thinking that, oh, we have to change the world. Perhaps that is not how it works, you know. But as our consciousness elevates, perhaps we elevate to a higher reality or a higher timeline where things begin to be different, you know, Mandela effect style or whatever. However, we can get lost in thinking about this. Oh, it's like this and it's like that, and who and what and how and how. And again, that is fear. And people say, well, you know, manifesting is, they think it's about control. They think it's about manipulation. They think it's about force and making it happen. And that's fear again. That is not how it works. There is magic. The magic of manifesting is in the flow. It's in surrender to your true self. This world's done a real number on us and our perception of how things should be. It's not like that. It's completely unlike that. And we manifest when we love ourselves. That is how we manifest. We love ourselves and we deserve wholeness and well-being and whatever it is you might want, whatever you see for yourself, whatever you feel you are here to be or to do, whatever that might be. And it's different for each and every one of us. The way it is achieved is through self-love and surrender, and that is a choice. And that choice can be made even in the darkest of dark. I know that now, because I've done that. Yeah. With a great deal of help. Okay. That's really all I wanted to say to you today. And if any of you are going through something similar, then I hope that this message gives you a sense of purpose and comfort, that you are precious, you are powerful, much more powerful than you can possibly begin to imagine. This world's done such a number on us that we don't even see ourselves, we don't even know who we are, because so many of our abilities and our talents are just completely hidden. And so all I can say is this: we ain't seen nothing yet. We are all like undiscovered countries, and like true explorers, we are about to venture forth into ourselves to discover all the wonderful, amazing abilities that we have, all the amazing things that we can do and achieve. Reality is not at all what we thought it was. It's a very, very mysterious thing, people. So let's not have any set definitions of what it is or what it should be or where it will go. We don't need to do that. There's no need for that anymore. We can let that go. It's a journey of discovery. It's not about certainty and knowing where we are going, right? It's a journey of discovery, the undiscovered country, and we are venturing forth into that now. Some of us are. We do this with faith, with trust, with surrender, filled with the light and the power of love. All my love to you all.